Hello, if this is your first time on my channel, I'm Amanda Merbu, and it is a true pleasure for me to have you here as we are going to talk about stopping thinking about someone and truly distancing yourself. If you knew how many times I've heard the following, Amanda, what hurts me the most is having distanced myself, is having moved away and realizing that this person didn't care. It didn't matter to them. They continue happily with their life, not a care in the world, while I'm feeling terrible, horrible, with how much it cost me to take the step, with what, along those lines. Okay, fine. There are two things here. First, why you are feeling so terrible and horrible, and second, why that person seems unfazed. And both follow the same path, meaning you have distanced yourself for appearances. You are like this because, really, at a certain point, you made this person your epicenter, the center of your life, all your thoughts, you gave them your energy. The moment I decide to distance myself, what I have to do necessarily to do it well and to move forward and for all this to make sense is to understand that I have to take what I put there and give it back to myself. That is, I have to leave understanding that from now on. The path I am going to write, so to speak, I have to be the protagonist again, because otherwise, what happens? I mean, if the most valuable thing I have for myself is this, and I have to distance myself. Obviously, the pain is unbearable, because in the end, that anxiety, that need, that dependency increases the more distance there is. That is to say, yes, I am worse off than I was. When I was, let's say, even if I was on a tertiary level, even if this person wasn't truly considering me, let's say, being able to be there to the extent that this person allowed me was less torturous than having to distance myself from where I have placed the value and meaning of my life. So I have to understand that it's not enough to do it for this person. We've talked about this many times, but I realize in practice that we don't truly set out to do it. Let's see. It's true that I often present it to you as motivation. The day you give yourself value, the day you respect yourself, the day you become more centered on yourself, the respect from this person will also be restored. They will realize what they have lost. They might even reconsider the value they attributed to you. But even though that might often be the motivation you need, because today nothing else satisfies you, you're not content with just wanting to feel good again. Still, when I take the step, I can't do it solely for that person. Because then it doesn't work. Because it's not about why this person doesn't care about losing me. It's that they haven't lost you. They haven't lost you at all. And I've talked about this many times. If you're very skeptical about energy, my channel might not be the most suitable for you because I firmly believe. And I firmly believe that the process of distancing oneself is the most important, even more important than the part where you want to show something to the other person. That's why I don't give much importance to things like I have to block them, I have to delete photos, I have to do this or that, but it's important not to post, but obviously, except for the part where please don't post indirect messages, and maybe don't spend all day posting what you're doing, so that the person might become curious. I don't see all that. Let's say it's 10%, 5% relevant compared to the importance of truly wanting from now on. To detach, to disconnect, to make a mental change. You will truly say, I don't want to focus my attention here anymore. I want to stop constantly thinking about the person. And you have to take this seriously. And when you take it seriously, the process has certain guidelines for you to determine if you're truly doing it properly. Let's see, the first guideline, it's going to hurt and it's going to hurt a lot. Why? Because taking it seriously means committing to I'm going to leave this behind. That is to say, it's not, I'm going to do this so that this person comes back and then I wait and see if it bears fruit. No, it's, I am going to leave this behind. And at that moment, a lot of emotions will overwhelm you. You'll become sad. If you need to cry, you cry. If you feel a pseudo-anxiety, a strong anguish, then you have to go through it. It's temporary. It's transitory. It's, let's say, that moment of facing that idea you don't want, which is, I am going to let it die. I am going to start to stop feeding that part of me that lives subjugated to you. And I know that if this part of me ends up drying up, so to speak, even if you come, there will be no turning back. The thing is, you lose sight of two things, that if that's the case, it won't hurt you anymore. That you should trust a little, that whoever has to come, will come. And whoever comes, at the wrong time might not be the right person for you. The thing is, at that moment when you still have the feeling, of course it hurts to kill a feeling. Let's not deceive ourselves in the end. Not just anyone moves us, right? It's like something that is born from you. So you give it weight, you give it value, and suddenly thinking all this for nothing, I understand it. But, I repeat, you have to be willing to do it. You have to understand. From now on, I'm not going to nurture this anymore. I'm going to let it die. It dries up like when you stop watering a plant. That's how it is. But for that, indeed, you have to stop watering the plant. So first it's I feel sorry, I feel pain, I feel anguish, I feel anxiety, thinking that I'm not going to water it anymore, that the natural process is that it will die, but I truly commit to it. And once that I lose that reluctance or that I don't want to, but I know it's what's best for me, but I don't want it, but I don't know how, I start to move forward. And there I have to do it right. So when I want to stop feeding something, I have to truly avoid it as much as I can. Of course, things like keeping an eye on social media, you have to completely forget about that. It's over. It's over. Neither their social media, nor that of their friends, nor of people who might give you information. That is to say, you have to be firm there. I'm not saying you have to block or create drama, but since there's the option to mute, you just don't look at anything. Out of sight, out of mind. It helps a lot more. Don't keep track of anything. Of course, the matter of fantasizing, forget about it. And also, you will realize that, of course, it's different, right? Because if I truly commit to the fact that this is in the process of drying up, when you remember the person, it will be more painful. Before, it's not like you were having a good time because you were already suffering from anguish, stress, anxiety, because let's say in situations, because if you leave, it's because you're not being reciprocated. If you're in one of those toxic relationships of yes, but no, but so on. Moreover, the stress and anxiety in which you move and specific moments of, how nice, what? That a healthy and calm fantasy, for example, when you meet someone at the beginning and you're getting excited, right? That you think about the person and it simply feels pleasant, right? So let's say that you already come from a place where thinking about this person causes you a lot of discomfort. But now at the moment you decide to let it dry out, when you remember the thought is truly painful. Because you will also experience it with a lot of nostalgia. Many times you will even distort it. You might even get to, very crazy things happen. Like, you even feel sorry for the person. It's like the pity you feel for yourself, or should feel for yourself for how badly you're going through it. Sometimes. You even project it onto the other person. And I meet people who tell me, Amanda, I don't want this person to have a hard time. What indication do you have that this person is having a hard time? Or you think about the situation and you feel like saying, but how can I be letting this dry up? Please hear. Again, we have to soak ourselves in a lot of reality. This hasn't been, or this isn't being today, or this isn't going as it should be going, because this person just didn't feel like it. Period. That's it. That's it. So when you feel that sadness of how am I going to stop watering the little plant? What if the little plant is unwell? The little plant is fine. In fact, the little plant is living its life. So when you find yourself in those moments, I don't know, at night, I know that, for example, the hardest moments are before we go to sleep or in the morning, or if you wake up in the middle of the night, right? There are many people who suffer from a lot of nighttime anxiety, right? You're remembering, or moments when you're about to eat and your stomach closes up. And this person, well, oh, this person, and I want you to think there, okay? What do you think this person is doing? Because I'm going to tell you, and you're going to say, Amanda, but I'm going to tell you. They are living their life. While you are there, awake, suffering, distressed, this person is probably sleeping like a baby. Yes, today. While you are there with a knot in your stomach, they are living their life. And I want you to remember those two things. On one hand, this hasn't happened because this person didn't feel like it. And secondly, while you are here playing the fool, this person is living their life. And do you know what I want you to do when you remember that? Yes, I want you to get a little angry, to feel that courage you need, and say, what the heck, I'm going to live my life too. And when you take this seriously, you'll realize something else happens, which is that your brain starts to understand that you mean it, that you're no longer going to use this person as a source to imagine or to release certain substances. You no longer want to fantasize about her. You no longer imagine a future with her, right? It says, phew, well, we need some joy from somewhere here. And suddenly you'll realize that you remember people from the past just the same. I'm not saying you remember like, okay, well, it will be, I remember, no. But for some strange reason, you'll realize that you remember people you might have stopped seeing or former partners, and you're curious about what their life is like now. That doesn't mean you have to go down that road and go back and pick a nail, pull out another nail, and all that nonsense. But it is an indication that you're taking it seriously, because that's your brain looking for sources of pleasure supply of some kind, right? So your brain is trying to remember moments when you were well without these people, perhaps other people who provided you with the same type of emotions, right? So that's why it happens. It's like suddenly you think, could it be that I remember this person because my destiny is... No. It's simply that you're looking for alternatives. And with a bit of luck, it also starts to present you with other types of alternatives, not linked to people, but like, phew, maybe I should get back into this sport, or I could encourage myself to do this, or what if I start planning a trip for my next vacation and organize it in advance and get excited about it? In other words, we start to realize that we can't remain, as I say, stuck, that what we want is to feel good again, and our brain starts looking for other paths as well. And you have to look for other paths. In other words, really, as I say, it's about not watering it. You don't distance yourself to live this with more anguish, it's the opposite. You distance yourself to be able to get away from all that anguish and truly understand that someone who is receiving something they don't value, because we give them more of what they don't value, they are not going to value it. That person who has left your messages on read, who has taken 2 days to reply, no, it's because I'm very busy, come on, don't bother me. Because then when you're in my presence, you have the phone. Nowadays, everyone has the phone in their hand. No one needs 2 days, 3 days, a week to reply to a message. No, it's just that I forgot. Well, if you forget one of my messages, you're already showing me how little you care. We need to be aware. So, I am a person who tries to give the best of myself even when I'm out of energy. And they don't value that. Do you really think that by giving them more, they will value it? No, quite the opposite. So, stop playing with that constant idea of, oh, if I just water the little plant a bit more. Because look, the first little leaf is already a bit brown. Let it turn brown. Let the damn leaves fall off. You want to water yourself again? You need to water yourself again. So really, please, we need to understand that. It's not about distancing myself and constantly thinking, what is this person thinking now that they realize I'm no longer there? Do you want to stop thinking about them? Seriously? Stop overthinking whether they've noticed. What do they think? What have they felt? Understand that distancing yourself is about controlling here. It's precisely about all those thoughts concerning the person no longer being there. That you start asking yourself more everyday questions. What am I going to do this weekend? What can I do for this or that? How can I distract myself? What would I like? Let the questions in your mind focus more on you and, of course, on other people, other plans, other ideas, other dreams, but truly, don't mentally water the plant. And now comes the part I know you like, which is when you ask yourself, but what if I do this right, Amanda? What if I really stop watering the plant and move away and focus on myself and so on? Will this person notice? Yes. In fact, that's when we truly realize, hey, what does it mean for the person to lose us? That test, something we always talk about, that clarity of, because there are people who need to lose you to realize what you mean to them. That's how it is. Also, be careful, because there are also people who are so tricky that they only want you when they can't have you, or when they think someone else is having you, and their ego tells them, how come not? I mean, it's not usually a good sign if a person needs to lose you to value you. The best sign. This means that if this person realizes what you mean to them after losing you, the relationship might not be worth it. No, I don't mean this because I know of quite a few cases where it's not like that. That is to say, sometimes it happens. It can happen that a person, for whatever reason, due to how the story unfolds or their circumstances, sometimes it can indeed happen that someone is not fully appreciating the situation. And when they truly lose us, they regret it and go through a process and seek us out, and we might have an option. Be careful. And I always try to clarify this in my videos once. That is to say, we can't be playing a game of tag with someone where I hide and you seek me. That doesn't make sense. That is to say, if you gather the courage and you distance yourself, and this person truly feels that they are losing you because you make it so, because you are willing to let the little plant dry up, and this person reconsiders and seeks you out, and you decide that you still want to give them a chance, because even though you no longer feel the way you did before, you still think that something good might come out of this or whatever. The point is that you give them the chance, or the little plant still has half a leaf left, and you say, well, okay, if you water it a lot now, I'm not going to water it anymore, but if you water it a lot now and take care of it, and it turns out that it revives, we can give it a chance, right? Okay, if at the moment this person realizes they can have you again, that things are good with you, they distance themselves again. This is over. It's not just that I want you to stop watering it. I want you to take it, rip out the roots, and throw it in the trash, smash it to pieces. I want you to understand that opportunities are not infinite. And besides, one doesn't need infinite opportunities, I repeat. It would be better to be with the person who, having you, values you. And everything goes as it should, without needing to lose you. But if we're going to go through that, we go through it once. We don't go through it twice. We don't go through it 3 times. We're not going through this every 2 months. That kind of relationship isn't worth it because it doesn't stem from a healthy love. So, we leave the little plant. If the other person wants to water it, then let them come and water it. If they have to come before it dries out completely, and they can, great. If not, that's how it was. Now, if they come, water it, and then leave us without water again, it's over. We take the shovel and ha-ha! And if you're wondering who you are in the little plant metaphor, some might say, oh, poor plant. The metaphor, you are the soil. She understands how powerful it is that you are the soil. Yes, you allowed the little plant to grow. Still, You didn't allow anything else to grow. As I say, it was your beloved little plant. It has already grown. But you are the soil. That is, if you stop watering tomorrow, it dries up. And if someone new arrives, a little seed, of course. If a plant has been growing for 2 years, it's a huge plant. And now a seed arrives and a tiny sprout emerges there. But where you place your affection, where you focus your attention, where you provide the opportunity for something new to grow, it grows. That is to say, there are times when we are so troubled by a romantic situation with someone and we truly believe that this person is the only damn person in the world capable of making us feel what they make us feel, right? We forget that emotions are born from us, that this love comes from, and especially when they are not nurturing us, because if you tell me, well, this person does everything to make me happy, right? You wouldn't want to distance yourself, obviously, but I mean, there would be a basis for understanding that it is their actions that provide or make my emotion grow. But when we are with someone who doesn't nurture us, everything comes from here. You are the one creating. And then sometimes when you've invested a lot in that place, it's hard to put a little love and attention elsewhere. But really, maybe you are neglecting the plant and you feel bad and you give yourself the option to say, hey, I'm going to go out and meet people. I'm going to plant this little seed here in the pot to see what happens. And you give it a little water, a little bit of, well, I go to the date and at least I listen to you. And I try to have the best attitude. And as I say, sometimes minimal care, I put you in the sun for a while, I do this, it starts to grow and from a tiny cutting, at first you think, oh, if a strong wind comes, it will blow it away, right? Well, with a little patience, you can get out of there. And sometimes the plant that grows is much more beautiful than the one we had. So understand this, you are the soil. And you decide what you water, what you don't water, where you put your care, where you put your attention, and wherever you put it, that will grow. Wherever you put it, that will grow. So understand that if that person is a weed and has shown you that they are a weed, but you don't stop removing it, meaning you don't take your attention away from there. And the more it grows, the uglier the plant becomes. A plant that, oh, has thorns is painful, huh? But you keep putting, it keeps growing. So that's why it's so important to understand that, no, it's over, it's over. It's that I don't think about you. It's that I distance myself and don't think about you. It's that I don't want to. It's that I don't want to water you. I really don't want to. And it's not about how to say it, not about being stubborn, right? Because obviously you're going to remember, right? But when you remember, it's like you say, no, actually, and I go somewhere else, okay? That is, I don't put excitement into it. I don't water it. Yes, the plant is there. Yes, you are there. Well, what am I going to do? I spent 3 years watering you. You take up 3/4 or 90% of the pot. So there you are, right? But now, I don't water you. I don't water you. Well, I think you've understood me well. Don't underestimate that, you. The ability to choose, to determine, to have the will, the desire to come back, to take control a bit and be better. And also, if you do it to achieve results, in order to have real results. Because I repeat, distancing yourself just for the sake of the other doesn't do anything but make you suffer more. And that's not the crux of the matter here, okay? Well, I hope this video helps you, that you like it. If you're like this and you're not yet subscribed to the channel, of course I invite you to do so, to hit the bell, because I would love for us to see each other again very soon. And until then, I send you a big kiss.